All right, y'all. Good morning again. Thank you for your patience. What we're going to do is pick up with where we left off on chapter 7. We basically got through the bulk of the presentation, but there were some videos in the chapter. I think everyone does have access to this. So these are videos that you do have access to, but for the sake of finishing up the chapter and learning, because this is an important one, we'll probably go through and watch some of those videos. We're going to talk a little bit about the Beauty as a Business chapter. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're usually done pretty quickly. I'm so sorry for the news. And I would close the window, but honestly, it's just as loud with the window closed, I promise. Can y'all hear me though? Okay. I'm gonna close it anyway. Maybe that's a little bit better. With the window closed, I gotta put this fan right on me because you know I'm getting old, y'all. Okay. I'm gonna finish up the lecture and then we'll watch a couple of those videos. We're gonna talk a little bit about, if I'm not mistaken, Jasmine is the only one that has Beauty as a Business course. Is that correct? Amaris and Nisha, you still don't have that course, correct?
I just have the advanced aesthetics course.
Just the aesthetics course. Got it. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about it. I don't think I need to be teaching y'all necessarily about Instagram and Google. Well, Google My Business, maybe. Let's talk about that for 2 seconds. Everybody has an Instagram page. Of course, we all have a personal page. Does everybody have a Instagram business page?
I do.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So everybody's monitoring at least two pages, not just monitoring, but operating 2 business pages. Honestly, what I would love to talk a little bit about is y'all old teacher just got on Threads last night. I know y'all on Threads already, aren't you? Are y'all on Thread?
I've seen it. I haven't made one yet.
Okay.
Yes, I'm on there.
Okay. Nisha, are you on Thread yet? Threads?
Yes, I'm on there.
Yeah, I know I was late. I knew I was gonna be one of the last ones. I'm a late starter. I'm one of those people that is slow to hop on a trend anyway. That's just my personality. As soon as I see people hopping on stuff, I go, let's see how that goes first. And then I'll think about joining later. So I got on last night and it's already too much for me. So we'll see what this material says. This material was developed, this lesson on Instagram, and there's a separate chapter in this textbook about disappearing stories, and it has multiple disappearing stories chapters. So there's obviously one on Instagram, and I think there's one on other platforms that also have disappearing content. Disappearing content is what it's called, referring to stories. This content was put together before Threads came out, obviously, since Threads is pretty new. My number doesn't even show up yet. I just have the little Thread sign on there. So y'all could tell me what y'all know about it, because I'm still learning, because that is brand new. And they're gone. Wonderful. I knew they were going to be leaving soon. They're in and out. They make a ton of noise and then they're gone. And so we know about Instagram, obviously. And then Google My Business. What is y'all's experience with Google My Business? I definitely have some things I can share with you about my experience with Google My Business. And then we can also go, and look at what content we have here. Have any of y'all used Google My Business?
I haven't.
Okay.
Yes.
You've used Google My Business? Okay. All right, good deal. All right, so we'll look and see what we got for that. So let's start off by finishing up where we left off with the treatment room. Did I download it twice? Or is this the old one? Oh, maybe this is the old one. Okay, so let's move this one. I'm always back and forth with my screens. Okay, let's see, where did we leave off? I'm not mistaken. This is a longer chapter than I thought it was. Properly manage. Okay, so I was kind of going fast to the end of the chapter. Let me share my screen. Make sure I share the right screen. All right, so I know we went a little bit past this, but this is when I started speeding up because I was looking at the time. So I'm going to go back to this so we can make sure we are clear with everything. So obviously with your supply management, you need to make sure that you have everything easily within reach. Excuse me. So your cart is important. We talked on Monday, I was gonna say yesterday, about making sure that your carts have wheels so that you can pull them close to you as needed. When you're in the middle of a treatment, you have someone in front of you. You really wanna have everything you need. If other than a little quick slide left or right, you really don't wanna have to get up a whole lot. You may develop your facial procedure to be something where at some point, if they're, if you're doing a mask, and maybe it's something like a jelly mask, which those take a long time to dry, upwards of 20 minutes, sometimes over 10 minutes, usually at least. So you may have a situation where you leave them in the room, listening to their music, letting their mask dry. You may be doing something like a hand massage. You may be doing something else, your neck and shoulder décolleté massage, whatever, however you determine you're going to do your procedure. But other than that, you want to minimize the getting up, and you don't want to seem like for every little thing, you got to get up and, for the next step in your facial treatment, you got to get up and go get it. That does not look professional. It looks like it sounds to the person, if their eyes are closed, like you're disorganized. They're going to want to open their eyes and want to know, people, if you have your eyes closed, unless you got one of your regulars and they trust you and they kind of know the deal and they know the drill and they know what you're doing, a new person is going to be like, what is she doing back there? What is all that movement? I know I would. I know most people feel that way. So you want to keep it where the client knows that you're right there. They know you're there. You're, for the most part, maintaining touch. They can kind of sense what's going on. You want to make sure that in your treatment room, you have a sink nearby. The way I set mine up, when I first was doing my services, I was doing body contours. I had my table in a corner that was far away from my sink because I didn't need my sink often during those treatments. When I started first doing facials, when I was kind of in school and I had my practice clients and I let them know I was in school and all that, I would turn my table around and I moved it closer to my sink. So I had a totally different setup and everything was right here within my reach. So you want to make sure that you have that kind of setup when you're looking at a facility. If you're not already in a facility, if you're looking at suites and you're looking at, treatment rooms, you want to think about what that feels like or what that's going to kind of look like. If your sink is far away from where you plan to do facials, then you're going to have to plan. So you're going to have 2-3 different bowls. You're going to have a plan for keeping your water warm because water does cool off. So as you get ready to use it again, you may have a bowl that you use later in the treatment that water is going to cool off, right? So you have to have a plan for all of that kind of stuff. All right. Let's see, proper inventory control is also important for supply management because it's going to help you sustain your budget if you're self-employed or sustain your employer's budget if you are working somewhere, because supplies can be costly. So how you manage your supplies. One of the big things on state board, y'all, one of the big things on state board is supply management, even in that short period of time there. One of the things that my friend and I used to do when we were kind of practicing and preparing and working with our classmates to prepare for state board was supply management. You don't want to just take a whole bunch of stuff out for a treatment because whatever you take out, consider it garbage, whether you used it or not. It's easy when you're working for someone else to be like, whatever. But when you have to buy those supplies, for those of you who have been there, and y'all know y'all have done your services and treatments, you've had your own clients. And so every service you do in your service provider requires some type of supplies. When you're buying your supplies, That's not cute anymore to be throwing away unused supplies. Supplies are expensive and they are continuing to go up in cost. All righty. That's about it for this one. But this is a really important piece here. So you really, a little goes a long way with aesthetics. So you don't need a whole lot. You want to learn how to quickly learn exactly what you need. So when we're preparing for state board, we practice. It's hard to get really good practice for state board practical, y'all. The reason why is because you need to use supplies to practice. I think I've told you before, you probably will hear me say it multiple times before it's it's all said and done. I used to, but when I first started getting serious about practicing for state board, I used to practice lazy. That don't even sound like me. I don't even sound like me, but I used to practice lazy. What does that mean? I would take out 2 or 3 cotton rounds and I would like pretend to use them. So I would like use one for like one part, I'd be wiping off a thing, and then I would sit it aside. I didn't throw it away. I would sit it aside and act like I threw it away. Like I would act like I threw it away and then I'd sit it aside. And then when I do something else, I would use that again because I'm like, okay, well, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not gonna throw this away to keep practicing. But what it did was it messed up my mind on how much supplies that I need to get through a practice treatment for state board. So when I did my facial demonstration for state board, what do you know? I ran out of supplies. I had to get creative. Luckily, I ran out of, I think I ran out of cotton rounds, but I had pulled out like aesthetics wipes. I had pulled out like a gauze that I had set aside to pretend to be aesthetics wipes. I got lucky because something told me as I was pulling out my supplies when they were getting ready to get the thing started, something said, just pull out some extra. I actually ran out of what I intended to use on the treatment. I ran out of that. And I had this little extra something that I pulled out as a just in case. That just in case saved my butt because I would have been messed up. You can't flub on state board. So one of the things that I have thought about, really thought about, as you know, you'll see you guys are going to get state board bags at school. You want to go through your state board bags. They're probably exactly what you need for your test. The problem with that is not a problem, but the challenge with that is you don't have supplies to practice with. So when you buy a state board bag from somebody who sells state board bags, because there's lots of esthetician girls out here, their side hustle is selling bags. I'm doing the same thing. But the problem with that is people will put a bag together, which will give you exactly what you need for state board. What are you practicing with? What are you practicing with? So I'm coming up with a way to like put together practice kits, real practice kits, because you have to practice. People who don't practice fail state board, period. People who practice state board incessantly pass the first time, period. So supply management doesn't just, this is a lesson for the treatment room, but I'm also, you know, referencing back to state board because it's a really big issue. Like I almost screwed myself up. I passed my state board practical the first time. I was not pleased with my score. As many people as I've helped, and y'all, I've helped a lot of my classmates who did better than me. What? So supply management is a real thing. You just get, it's one of those things where you can talk about it as much as possible, but you really got to get in there and practice and, you know, get in there and set your room up and start doing your facials on your clients. And you're like, I'm going through this stuff too fast. Let me go back and revamp. Like, let me use a little bit less, or, you know, find ways to like buy certain supplies, your consumables in bulk instead of buying them in small amounts on like an Amazon or something like that. So honestly, a lot of this just gets to like being where you have to just do it and then tighten up your process. Does that make sense? All right, so supplies is, this is important. I know I'm running my mouth, but this is kind of key stuff here. Supply storage. Talk about storage. Storage is important too, because if you don't properly store stuff, it will be wasted and you will be buying new stuff as well. So supplies, you have multi-use and single-use, of course. Single-use items like those cotton swabs and cotton rounds, lancets, and all kinds of things that you use, they must be disposed of immediately after they're used. Your trash can, what do you remember us saying about your trash can in your treatment room? What must it have? Two things,
Like the whole lid,
a lid and
the pedal part.
yes, must have a foot pedal to operate the lid. It's not beneficial to have a lid if you got to touch the lid, if you got to raise the lid with your hand. There's no way you can keep your hands clean. So it must have a foot pedal so that you're not touching anything, because more than likely you're tossing stuff in that trash can in the middle of your treatment. You're touching your client's face, your gloves are touching your client's face, cannot be touching the garbage can. All right, because nobody's trying to go through that many gloves. Nobody's trying to wash their hands that many times in one treatment. So you must be hands-free with your garbage. So very good. Speaking of lancets and things like dermaplaning, what must we also have to dispose of in our rooms? How do we dispose of our items that can poke and cut us? What must we have? Yes, Sharps container. I believe you both said that. Okay, proper storage is necessary to keep items clean and sterile. If supplies and products are not kept at the workstation or treatment room, they're kept in a dispensary or a storage closet. You're going to have a storage closet in your space. We're going to have a dispensary at school. Proper inventory control, adhere to salon or spa's policy or school's policy on removing items from the dispensary. For stocking treatment rooms or stations. At some point, as part of your spa management hours, when you get to school, you probably won't be in the dispensary. Most students are not. Most of the time, your instructors are going to be responsible for the dispensary. You will see, and I mean, every school does their dispensary slightly different. Where I went to school, we had to go through our teachers to get our, what we needed out of the dispensary. You will feel like it just depends on how we do it. I'm on my way to campus. I start actually a week from today. I'll be there kind of getting ready for you guys, actually. So I'll be there for about a month before I think Nisha starts over there, and then one by one, as y'all finish up your stuff, you'll be come. By the time you guys get there, I'll know everything I need to know to make sure we're good to go. But usually something to the effect of when you're getting ready to do when you're doing your mannequin treatments, as well as when you're doing your live treatments on the senior floor, you'll go to the dispensary to get what you need for that particular service. And it will be dispensed out to you just like in a pharmacy, if you will. That's why it kind of looks like that. Different setups require different numbers of towels or cotton supplies. Each instructor will have a special setup procedure for you to follow. So one of the things that I'm doing over the next few weeks is going to campus to learn how we do things on campus, because I have not been on campus. My colleague has not been on campus yet. There is a teacher and a set of students on campus now. They were the first set. So that's what I'll be doing over the next month is getting ingrained in what the day-to-day looks like on campus. So I'll be ready for y'all when y'all come. But supplies storage is really important. When you have your own location, you're going to want to pick certain types of shelving and cabinetry so that you can keep certain things need to be kept out of sunlight. There's certain like enzymes, there's certain chemical peel treatments. They need to be out of the light. Certain things need to be kept in certain temperatures. If they're too warm, they may become rancid. If they're not closed tightly enough, airtight, air gets in them, they might become rancid, or whatever bacteria is in the air gets in your product. So you have to be very careful with your supply management and your supply storage. Treatment supplies. Multi-use implements. Okay, oops, I skipped one. Here we go. Okay, so you have your multi-use implements or your reusable implements. What are implements? What is your definition of implements? What is your understanding of the word implements?
Anything that needs to be disinfected.
Not necessarily. You do need to disinfect them, but as a definition,
Like
that's
tools,
not the best. Yes, say that again.
like tools.
Generally speaking, an implement is just a tool to help you get a job done, right? So do some of them need to be disinfected? Yes. Some of them just need to be cleaned and not necessarily disinfected. So what are implements? Things like a bed warmer. It says here it's optional. It's not optional. Have a bed warmer. You can get them for $50 or less, $60 or less. So it makes such a difference when your client gets on your table and underneath that nice clean sheet, it's warm and toasty. Oh, especially when it's cold outside. Oh my God, they don't forget stuff like that. A bolster. A bolster. What's a bolster? Do we know what that is?
Like pillows, like those.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a support pillow, usually for under the knees if you're on your back. If you're on your stomach, which we don't do a whole lot, well, we have back facials and butt facials and all kinds of stuff. So we're on our stomach. If our client's on our stomach, we would actually put that underneath the ankles. It's just the way the body is ergonomically shaped. There's certain times that, you know, if you lay flat on your back, I don't know about y'all because y'all young, but if I lay flat on my back and I don't have anything under my knees, my back is a mess in the morning because your legs naturally bend at the knees. So you need to have some support under the knees when you're on your back. Certain types of back support. There's certain bolsters for back support as well. Handheld mirrors, because if the client is on the table and you have a mirror on your wall, that mirror is not helping them see what's going on. A pillow or a hand rolled towel for neck support makes a huge difference depending on what people have going on, makes a huge difference. Sometimes you could just roll your towel and place it right underneath their neck and they're good for the whole thing. Sometimes when we're working on the lower part of the face, we're working under the chin, if we're doing something with the neck, you want that head tilted back anyway. So you might need a neck support so you can comfortably tilt their head back because you're working on the bottom here. It's hard to see when you're sitting behind somebody's head. To get underneath there, sometimes you have to stand up. A lot of people do facials on their feet if their tables are high. So in order to get down here, you want to be able to tilt their head back. Extraction tools. Now, extraction tools definitely need to be disinfected because we're all up in their skin with them, that we're pushing out sebaceous filaments and we're closing out, we're opening up comedones in some cases. Y'all know what comedones are? That's a technical term for a pimple. All right. So comedone extractors and things like that, those are those metal implements that absolutely need to be disinfected and sterilized. Blankets, sheets to cover the client, for the client to lay on. When I was doing body contouring, I was a big fan of disposable sheets because I used a lot of oils. So I was like, I am not about to mess up these sheets because you can wash sheets every single day. But if you're doing things with oils, you know, I'm slathering up these stomachs and you know, I'm working on booties and stuff like that. So for me, I had sheets on my table, but I also had something to cover that. I had a plastic on top of my sheets, and then I had a disposable sheet on top of that. So I could pull up the disposable sheet, pull up the plastic. If the sheet needed to be changed, I would change it, but a lot of times it didn't because I would cover that up. On top of my disposable sheets, I put down Chuck's pads or those doggy pads. That's literally because my body contouring is messy. Facials are not as messy, right? So you can let people like lay on your sheets and then just change your sheets. You need bowls and basins for water, right? You have your client chart. So you have like clipboards, you have just different prescription pads. These are, I don't think of this as an implement, but I'm looking at the material for the class. Lots of companies have them. This is the SkinScript prescription pad. I love it. Everything is right here. Like you don't have to like write all this stuff. It's already written here. So all you have to do is check off stuff. This helps the client. This gives the client their at-home care. So all you're doing is checking off what you want them to use in the morning, what you want them to use at night. Yeah, it gives them a little something and then now you know what their reorder is going to look like for your retail. Lots of companies have prescription pads. What else do we have here? Client gown or wrap. Lots of options for this, lots and lots of options for this. There are disposables and there are non-disposables. Sometimes you have those terry cloth wraps that they can wrap just around them. That leaves their décolleté and their neck available in their shoulders if you do décolleté and neck shoulder massages during your facials. I use disposables. I was a big fan of disposables. My clients were largely almost naked for what I used to do. And so I didn't even know they had all this stuff. They have disposable slippers. They have the wraparound things. They have disposable robes. Now, if you want to be really high end, you want to get the waffle. I mean, you can get terry cloth, you can get the really thick, fancy ones, but if people are wearing them, you know, how many are you going to get? How many clients are you seeing? How many are you going to have to order? And that's a lot of washing. Also, they're going to get kind of tattered quickly. Waffle ones are really good because they're thinner, they're lighter, they're cooler, they're not as heavy and hot as terry, especially in weather like this. And there you can buy a lot of them in bulk. So as soon as they get bad, you can kind of just toss them. But you can wash those and you can get some use out of those. Or you can go full disposable if you're not so high end and you're kind of in and out, but you want to still give them that feel a little bit. Also, they have the thin ones, the thin silky like ones. And then you can just, you know, wash those and reuse them. And, you know, as soon as they start looking a kind of way, you get rid of them. So robes, wraps, client gowns, depending on what you're doing. The wraparound ones that just go around here are perfectly fine. And then all of this is available. I think those are good. And if you don't know what you want to do, you try a few. I used to get one of different types and then try them out and have my clients tell me what they like, what was comfortable. And, you know, and then if I got, you know, a certain type of wrap or gown that was, everybody's like, oh, I like this. I hear that 2-3 times, I'm ordering. So you can try them that way. Facial kits. Obviously, you need your supplies as well as your products for your facials. Glass and plastic containers, like the ones that we just saw here. Well, they're in the actual next slide. So I'll show you the next slide just so you can see what I'm talking about. So these types of containers, you can have plastic, you can have glass containers. You need those to hold your single-use items. Obviously, we mentioned linens for sheets, face and hand towels, either cloth or disposable, rubber mixing bowls. So you'll need those for your masks to mix those up. Metal spatulas to disperse product from the jars. They also have plastic spatulas that are disposable, just to scoop stuff up. You can use them for that particular product for that day and then toss it. Retail product brochures, so you can give your clients information when you're doing home care education. Scissors, tongs to handle, like in this, what this lady is doing in this picture, tongs to handle your hot towels, tweezers, all that stuff. Your facial treatment supplies. You need your headbands for your clients, 2x2s, 4x4s, disposable hair wraps and protective caps for their hair. Lancets, that's based on state by state. We don't use lancets here. Disposable vinyl or nitrile gloves. I hate vinyl. I like nitrile. You can't use latex anymore because most people have latex allergies. Fan brushes, mask brushes to apply those masks on their face. Fragrance-free tissues in case they need tissues. Gauze squares, makeup sponges, paper towels. Personal service towels to drape clients, keep your work area clean, plastic liners for various things. Like I said, I used to use plastic liners on my tables. Some people want them for like their shoes or whatever have you. Sealable plastic bags, sterile cotton wipes, wax supplies. We'll go over more of that in chapter 11 for hair removal. It's a lot of stuff that's needed to get through some of these items. This one is missing a slide. Oh, here it is right here. No, this is a different slide. Alrighty, so we'll do more of this in class, with setting up your area. You'll be doing stuff like that when you get on campus. Facial bar or station, we looked at that one. Prepare the treatment room for services. That is a procedure in this chapter, so we can't do that in Zoom. We'll be doing that when we get on campus. Let me see. This would be a good time to look at those videos. Let me get those videos up real quick. Steamer will log you out real quick if you're not active in there. All right, let's pull this one up. All right, so we're gonna look at some of these videos real quick because I think this is critical. Treatment room. All the videos are close to the end here. I'm gonna reshare my screen. Hopefully it will play the sound. I lost power yesterday during work and I lost my internet and I swear it took forever and my internet wasn't right for the rest of the day. Video, please. There we go. All right, let me reshare my screen with sound. See if it will play. Share sound. And I don't know how loud it is. Let me see what my volume is. It's pretty loud. All right, let's see. Can y'all see my screen?
In this video, let's review the steps for preparing your treatment room. It's the start of a new day, and you have a few leftover items to do before your first client arrives. Once you become familiar with the process, it should take about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. Preparing your room or station ahead of each client will avoid any confusion or stress that could occur during a treatment. Go over the daily schedule, the client's chart and intake form on file if this is a repeat client. If you have a new client, tell the receptionist to give the client an intake form to fill out when they arrive. Wash your hands with soap and water before touching any supplies. Now let's begin by looking at the furniture you will need in your treatment room. The treatment table or facial chair should be adjustable so you can work comfortably without straining your body, especially your back. The stool should also be adjustable and roll around easily, reducing any strain when reaching for supplies or implements. When working with a client, adjust the stool so that your waist is level with the treatment table to avoid neck and back strain. A step stool for the client, a utility cart or trolley, and a magnifying lamp should also be readily accessible. A handheld mirror may also come in handy prior to or after a treatment. The steamer should be maintained according to the manufacturer's recommendations, which may include certain types of water and specific cleaning instructions. Check the steamer water level and preheat if using. Place distilled water into the designated container through the fill opening in the top. Check that it is not too full and is level with the maximum fill line. A towel warmer will keep your towels warm. When using the warmer, the towels should be wet but not dripping when placed inside. If waxing is part of the service, the wax heater should be kept on during the workday, just in case you get an unexpected request or a walk-in. A sharps disposal container is a puncture-proof biohazard container for disposal of all used lancets, syringes, needles, or other sharp objects. A closed, covered pedal trash can for disposal of single-use items and a laundry hamper should be available for used linens. A binder for safety data sheets, or SDS, should always be kept in the treatment room or on a computer for easy access. Remember, they are informational forms regarding every skincare product. During each treatment, you will be using single and multi-use supplies and implements. Single-use or disposable items include gauze, cotton wipes, sponges, and wooden spatulas. These items must be discarded after each use. Set up your trolley with these supplies, kept in closed containers, in the order you will use them on a clean towel, or cover them with a towel until ready for use. Check your chapter for the complete list of everything you need. Dispense only the amount of product you will need for the service, into disposable cups for instance. Multi-use items including tweezers, scissors, and extractors. These items are made of steel and must be cleaned and disinfected or ideally sterilized after each client. The autoclave is a necessary tool for sterilizing your implements by killing bacteria, viruses, fungi, and bacterial spores. Always maintain a good supply of consumables, such as hand soap, paper, or cloth towels. Check your disinfectant is ready and make sure to follow the manufacturer's recommendations. If required, record on a dated log when the disinfectant is changed. Products used in treatments can include moisturizer, creams, body oils, and cleanser. Make sure you have enough product for your first client. Before meeting with your client, be sure to allow up to 15 minutes for your equipment to preheat. Now for the treatment table. Place one sheet lengthwise on the table. Place one hand towel lengthwise at the head of the table. Lay out another towel for covering the décolleté area if needed. Place the second sheet lengthwise on top of the first. Fold the top 1/4 of the second sheet back horizontally. Place a blanket on top of the linens to keep the client warm. Have a clean headband ready for the client. Place a spa wrap on a table or on a hanger for your client to put on. Make sure you have a bolster or pillow for your client's comfort. Have beverages available for the client. Prior to meeting your client, address your personal needs. Wash your hands before you greet your client. Hand washing should be done throughout the day and during a service. You will also wear gloves for every treatment. Perform an equipment pre-check and adjust the position of your equipment to ensure client safety and ease of use. Now you are ready to greet your client.
Yeah, that's a lot, but that's like required to make sure that you are really set to go. And what I think a lot of people do is they do not allow themselves appropriate time in between appointments. You know what I mean? Like, and it just depends on the business that you're in. If you're in one of those franchise businesses where you're back to back to back, you know, setting up your room do not look like that. It looks a lot more rushed and a lot quicker. So, but that honestly is kind of where you want to go with that. So wanted to show you that one. Let's look at post service.
In this video, we will review the post-service steps, which include cleaning up the treatment room and preparing it for your next client. Once you become familiar with this process, it should take you about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. Before we begin the cleanup process, be sure to record any notes regarding your previous client and store their information in a secured location. It's important to understand that cleaning is regulated by regional laws, so be sure to know what they are in your area. To help you in this task, create a cleanup checklist and refer to it as often as needed. Include all infection control guidelines in your checklist. This includes the 2 methods of infection control: cleaning and then disinfecting with an EPA-approved disinfectant, and cleaning and then sterilizing using sterilization equipment or an autoclave. Be sure to refer to your infection control chapter for more information. Prior to cleaning or handling any chemicals, make sure you are wearing gloves. If this is the end of the day, let's begin by turning off all the equipment. You can then clean the steamer and autoclave according to the manufacturer's directions. Wash and disinfect all implements you used, such as tweezers, scissors, and extractors. During your treatments, be sure to keep used items separate from clean ones. This will avoid contamination and make cleanup easier. While in use, items should be kept on a clean towel. Throw out used disposable items in a covered trash can. Sharp items such as lancets go in a puncture-proof sharps disposal container. Change the disinfectant to comply with local laws and according to the manufacturer's directions. Wash and dry the used bowls with soap. Wipe down all equipment with a disinfectant. Change the linen on the treatment table or leave it unmade if it is the last service of the day. To remove the used linen, roll inward so that the dirty side doesn't touch your clothes and place them in a laundry hamper. Clean and disinfect the trolley, all containers, and other workstation surfaces, including sinks, countertops, and floor mats. Clean and disinfect the bottom tray and the inside of the towel cabinet. Reset your products and disposable items on a clean towel. Place a fresh robe on a hanger or clean table. Clean all other equipment with the disinfectant. If you have no more clients, turn off heated equipment. Leave the hot cabinet towel warmer door open and empty the tray underneath it before cleaning and disinfecting. Use your checklist to make sure you haven't forgotten anything. Look at your schedule for the next day and make sure you are prepared for your first client. Remember, a clean treatment room is a safe treatment room for you and your client.
All right, cool. All right, good deal, good deal. Questions on any of that? No question?
Ma'am.
I'm going to pull this up real quick to look at it for those of you who don't have it. All right, so when you all get access to, so we're switching gears. When you all get access to Beauty as a Business, it looks like this. So it's got the blocks on there for each chapter, just like in your advanced, in your last book. I don't remember where Websites for Your Beauty Business was. I need to go back and look at the syllabus to see if I missed this one or if it just went straight to Instagram, because interestingly enough, Instagram came up first and then Google My Business came up. So usually these are organized in the direction that they want us to do them. I'm just going to pull up. I'm in your course. I looked at the instructor material and it's not a whole lot of stuff in there. So this is what the course looks like. It goes through, there's a video here, Introduction to Instagram. I don't know how long this video is, but if I have time, I'll go back and play it again. Maybe we'll just look at the videos here. There's a discussion question on Instagram here, which is taking forever to come up. Discussion. Okay, these are some of the ones that were already out there from the other students. Where's the question? I don't know why it's not coming up. Usually there's an assignment. There's a question that will come up here. Then there's an activity here for the first part of the class. I don't know why it's not coming up for me. That's odd. Let me look at this one. Instagram 102 discussion. Jasmine, you have this class. When you click on the discussion, is there a discussion question that populates?
Let me see.
It's not coming up here. I see the actual discussion comments from other people, but on the actual first tab, usually when you have a discussion question, the first tab gives you your actual discussion question that they want you to answer. I don't know why this screen is blank, to be honest.
Let me see, it's loading.
Let me know what you see. The assignments are not loading for me. It might be because I'm not a student in this class. I don't know. So the first section here, y'all, 101 is the introduction to Instagram. This is going to be like nothing to y'all. The second section, 102, is the account setup. Section 103 is your Instagram handle and your bio setup. What we may do, excuse me, what I may do, this is what I might do. since only one of you have this class. This might be helpful because I can't even share with you what the assignments are because it's not
Where
populating
is it?
for me.
I'm sorry. Is it supposed to be in the beauty
It should be in your
business?
class. It should be in your classes next to your advanced class.
Beauty as a business?
Mhm.
Okay.
Beauty as a business.
Yeah.
And like the outside of those two initial things, it should be like the second or third chapter
Try
in
for
the
your
book.
business.
Instagram for your business.
Let me see. Okay, Instagram for your business. Let's see, discussion.
When you go into the first one, yeah, see what it says for discussion, because I click on it and I don't see the question. But I'm not listed as a student in the class, so I don't know if that's it. But what I can do, Amaris and Nisha, for you guys is what I can do is I can do a Zoom recording and play the videos in the Zoom recording, and then that may be a good way to share them with you, or we can just watch videos next time since y'all don't have it. I know we have to move on, that's the only thing. So I think I'm going to try to do a recording where I'm just playing the videos. I'll just play them back to back to back so you can at least see the videos, you can at least see the content that's in the class. Yeah, because I mean, some of this stuff is, I think, like how to set up your handle in your bio. Y'all already know that, right? But at least you still will have access to the content. Are you seeing anything, Jasmine?
Yeah, it says following the interactions with other beauty accounts on Instagram is a great way to get creative and inspiration and join the community. Which beauty influencers, stylists, or brands do you love to follow on Instagram? List at least 2 accounts you follow and share why you follow them. Who do your classmates post? They may be following relevant beauty accounts you haven't discovered yet.
Okay, that's cool.
So it just says list 2 accounts that you follow and share why you follow them.
Okay, so I'm going to do some digging in this course. We have this course on the side here, so y'all don't have access to it. There's nothing they can really expect from you guys. So I'm going to do what I can to at least share the content with you, so that I'm just concerned about y'all being slammed with stuff to do from the classes that you did not have access to. So just trying to get creative with how I can make sure you all are getting that content, and maybe have a way to start maybe documenting your answers to some of these questions. That way, when you get access, you could just pop those answers in and keep it moving. It's not like you have to start over, like, okay, now I have to do this class. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So, all right. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a video where I just go through some of these videos. So like I'll play one, and then I'll look at one for Google My Business, and just to give you a taste of what you can expect. Captions, when to post on Instagram, Instagram hashtags, Instagram engagement, why you need to look at your insights, how to read Facebook insights, how to read Instagram insights, and ready for success. So like, let's look at this one. This will be what the type of.
Now let's talk about pictures. Instagram is a visual platform, and what they say is true. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Your picture is your best bet at getting someone to check out more of your posts and start exploring who you are. Let's talk about best practices you should follow with pictures on Instagram. First rule, less is more. Pictures that do well on Instagram are bright, light, and have a minimalist feel. There was an analytics firm that analyzed 8 million Instagram posts to see what got the most likes, and here's what they found. First, good lighting matters. Photos that were lighter and brighter received almost 25% more likes. Watch out for harsh or unnatural lighting, like fluorescent lights that are sometimes found in salons. A great way to manage this is to take your picture with your subject facing into the natural light from a window. Or use the Instagram editing tool, which has a specific brightening area to lighten up your photos. Next, cool tones are always the way to go. Pictures that had a cooler feeling with blues and whites did better than pictures with warm tones like red or orange. And a picture with a dominant color, regardless of which color, always does better than a photo with many colors. We'll revisit this tip in just a moment. Other things that you should keep in mind are that your photos should be as high quality as possible. Most smartphones have a pretty solid camera on them these days. Work on getting photos that are in focus and look and feel right. It's worth being patient and snapping things a few different times to get the right kind of photo. Also, don't go heavy on the filters. Keep things looking real and natural. However, if you do use a filter, keep it consistent. And think about the composition of your photo. You know when someone is posting about their morning and they've got this gorgeous spread with their coffee cup, a cute plate of avocado toast, and a succulent? No one really eats their breakfast that way, but it looks good on Instagram and gets more likes. Try getting a little creative and artsy. Again, this does well on Instagram.
So real quick, simple videos that, videos that will kind of give you some direction. And apparently, if you can see here, there's like a discussion question and an activity, just like in your advanced class for each section. So I think that's what I'm gonna do because they're short enough where I can kind of do them back to back to back. So that's what the Instagram, that's what I'll do for Instagram. I'll do a video just for that one. Actually, I can do that this week. So I'm almost finished my class. Google My Business kind of looks the same way. Foundational social marketing principles. I'm trying to see if there's a really good one here. Importance of online reviews. Tools asking for a review. Key points to remember when encouraging online reviews. How negative reviews actually help businesses. That's a good one. I may play that one real quick because we're basically out of time. Google My Business is something that is not only important for your brand and for your business, it's important for your business credit, your business funding. Google My Business is critical for that. So maybe we'll just play this very first one and I'll do the same thing. I'll make a video of videos for this one. And we'll talk more about this. We'll continue. Hey, this is the long one. I'm gonna play the whole thing.
Thank you.
I just decided we're not gonna play that one. That's almost a 5-minute video. But what I'll do is I'll make a video of videos for each of these classes. And if I can, I will find a way to gather up the information out of these courses. And so then I may try to see if I can do the same thing for the last year. So this is the only thing that's bothering me. I can't see the assignments. I can't see the assignment question. I can see the posts from other students, as y'all can see here, but I can't see the assignment question. So I'm going to do my best to go through the instructor materials. There we go. There we go. So if I can gather this stuff together, and maybe I'll just make this a project. If I can kind of go through some of these and gather up what the assignment questions are, maybe I can have you guys. And then the other problem is I've been having trouble getting the ebook to you. Yeah, y'all just have to have access, but at least if I can gather the videos together, that's something that you all can watch on your downtime and at least be kind of up to speed on what we're doing on these two. So I'm going to double back as I always do and see where we are with the access issue. We'll continue working on these on the side. I know I haven't spent much time in this, but we'll continue to work on these on the side as we move forward. I believe what we have next is, let me look. Okay, so we're fully done with the treatment room. If you haven't finished your work for that class, go ahead and finish your work for that class for Sunday. We did infection control and infection safety control for the last course. So the next thing that we are working on, let me share my screen one last time for the regular class here. Let's go back out. to advanced. I always like to tell y'all what we have up next. I'm about to let y'all go. So what we have up next for our regular class is skin analysis. So as you finish up your work for the treatment room, you have my permission, depending on what you have access to and what you're able to do. Go ahead and move forward. The next chapter is going to be on skin analysis. So that's chapter 5 in fundamentals. And what else are we doing? It says physiology and histology of the skin, but we did that already. We already did that. But I'm looking, I think I'm looking at an older syllabus. So we have skin analysis and we have Instagram Reels. So we'll stay with we'll keep working with the Beauty as a Business class. So we'll pick up Instagram Reels, and Google My Business. Those will be the next couple of ones that we work on. And after skin analysis, we go into disorders and diseases of the skin. And we go into the last class in the LASH course, which is disorders and diseases of the eye. Nope, it's not the last one. I take that back. Eyelash extension application is the last one. So this is the second to last one we'll do here. We did all the rest of the other ones. And I know y'all have to go back and do those, but we covered them. Disorders and diseases and allergies of the eye area, chapter 3 in the LASH class. And in advanced is going to be disorders and diseases of the skin. That is the following chapter. Next up for next week is skin analysis, and we'll work on our Beauty as a Business classes, which will be Instagram Reels, and Google My Business. Questions? I know it's a lot. No questions? Okay. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording here and let y'all go. Y'all have a good rest of the week. Hit me up if you need anything. If you have any questions, I'll be working on following up on y'all's accesses. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll make those videos for the videos. All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Have a
You're
good day.
welcome. Have a good rest of the week. Call me if you need me.
All right, you have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.